So, have you ever caught yourself just looking in the mirror and wondering what exactly happens to your romantic appeal as you get older? Look, it's a completely universal anxiety. We all know that physical youth naturally fades over time, right? And relying strictly on our looks to attract others, well, that's kind of just a losing game in the long run. But what if I told you that true, lasting, magnetic attraction has actually very little to do with your physical appearance and literally everything to do with how you structure your words? Okay, let's dive into this explainer, where we're going to unpack the psychological secrets of remaining irresistibly attractive at absolutely any age.
Right. So here is our syllabus for today's masterclass. We are looking at the shift to conversational capital, the psychology of connection, mastering the phrase templates, the art of setting boundaries, active listening and space, and finally, training your communication muscle. All right, section 1, the shift to conversational capital. So we have to ask the big question: what actually happens to our relationships and our appeal when our youthful looks inevitably start to fade? To really answer that, we have to look at how the psychology of attraction evolves. See, when we're young, attraction is largely driven by impulse, visual cues, reproduction, the basics. But as we mature, the whole purpose of relationships shifts. We start seeking emotional stability, mental fulfillment, mutual growth. And because of the shift, the source of our attractiveness has to change right along with it. It moves away from just physical traits and towards what we call conversational capital. Basically, this is your ability to create deep emotional alignment, smoothly navigate interactions, and respect other people's boundaries. And this brilliantly illustrates the exact difference. On one side, we have looks capital. Sure, it's highly effective in your youth, and it relies heavily on physical attributes, but by the literal laws of nature, it is a depleting resource. Then, on the other side, we have conversational capital. This is maturity-focused, it's deeply psychological, and honestly, the best part, it's a continually growing asset. Seriously, the older you get, the more refined and powerful your conversational capital becomes. It's basically the sustainable framework for mature connection. Moving right along, section 2, the psychology of connection. Okay, so now that we know what we actually need to build, how do we manage delicate situations without accidentally sparking a massive argument? Well, the secret lies in a subtle but absolutely incredibly powerful shift in the subject of your sentences. Look at this comparison. So many of us unconsciously use you messages, stuff like "you never listen to me" or "you are making this difficult." Psychologically speaking, that is aggressive. It puts all the focus on the other person and instantly, I mean instantly, triggers their defensive walls. An I message, on the other hand, is assertive but highly empathetic. By just saying, "I feel overwhelmed when this happens," you're focusing strictly on your subjective emotion. Because you're simply stating how you feel, there's actually nothing for the other person to argue against. That dramatically lowers their psychological defenses and makes them far, far more receptive to what you're saying. Let's move to and see how this builds into section 3, mastering the phrase templates. So why is it that we totally freeze up or just say the absolute wrong thing when someone suddenly compliments us or asks us out? It actually comes down to something called working memory. When you're put on the spot, the cognitive load on your brain is just massive. To reduce that brain strain, highly charismatic people use what's basically conversational infrastructure. Notice these 3 distinct situations. By having around 15 pre-planned phrase templates ready to go for different scenarios, you create this amazing illusion of effortless adult margin. When someone compliments you, instead of doing that awkward self-deprecating thing we all do, you use an acceptance template like, "My chest tightens, I'm so happy." It shows genuine emotional vulnerability. For rejection, you use clear external boundaries. "I'm flattered, but I have a partner." And for praise, you make them feel special. "Only you say that to me." Now listen, these aren't fake scripts to trick people. Not at all. They are base layers that reduce your panic, so you can adapt in the moment and respond with genuine grace. Which brings us to section 4, the art of setting boundaries. Now, having conversational capital doesn't just mean being super charming to everyone, it also means fiercely protecting your own energy. Rejection gets a bad rap, but saying no is actually a crucial act of self-care and mutual respect. But I know we all struggle with this. How do you reject someone gracefully without feeling like the bad guy? So many of us have these deep-rooted people-pleasing tendencies, right? We give ambiguous, wishy-washy answers to unwanted attention because we just hate the awkwardness. But here's the truth. A vague no just wastes their time and completely drains your energy. So here is exactly how you handle it based on the specific situation. First up, the DSC method. This is perfect for when you actually want to maintain the relationship. You state the situation, express your emotion, offer an alternative, and give them the choice. It preserves their pride, though it does take a bit of practice. Then there's the Cushing method. This is just gratitude followed by a quick refusal. Perfect. Fast, great for business or passing acquaintances. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the broken record method at the bottom. This is pure emotionless repetition. You literally just state your refusal over and over without changing a single word. It is a highly effective, incredibly powerful psychological defense against stalker-like behavior or people who just absolutely refuse to accept your boundaries. All right, section 5, active listening and space.
Being truly attractive isn't just about the words coming out of your mouth, it's about how you listen and even how you physically position yourself. If you want proof, check out this striking data from a California State University study. They found that in messages, praising someone's physical traits actually decreased replies by 24%. Decreased! But praising someone's unique inner traits, their inner self, their actions, their core values, that increased replies by a massive 38%. I mean, this completely disrupts conventional dating advice. Validating who someone is on the inside mathematically outperforms superficial compliments every single time.
And how you listen physically, just as critical. Personal space is essentially broken down into intimate, personal, and social zones. You absolutely cannot just jump straight into someone's intimate zone. You have to gauge it first. A fantastic technique for this is using a 5-second silence during a conversation and just observing their nonverbal physical feedback. If you lean in slightly and they give what we call NG cues, like pulling back or suddenly crossing their arms, you respect that and stay in the personal or social zone. But if they give OK cues, maybe leaning in towards you or mirroring your posture, then you have permission to close the distance. It's all about reading the physical room. Finally, section 6, training your communication muscle.
Welcome to the dojo phase of the explainer. We are moving from the theory into the daily practical exercises you absolutely have to do to master this. Because listen, if you just memorize templates, you're going to sound robotic and calculated. You actually have to train your brain. Step 1 is shadowing. Find a communicator you really admire and literally copy their voice out loud. The rhythm, the pauses, everything. This fires up the mirror neurons in your brain and helps internalize that charismatic pacing. Step 2 is abstract to concrete. Every single day, record a 1-minute speech, toggling between a broad theory, say, what is kindness, and a specific, concrete story from your own life. This trains your brain to give your everyday conversations amazing depth. And step 3 is self-narrative. Just record yourself narrating your thoughts for 45 seconds, then listen back. It's painful at first, for sure, but you will instantly catch all your annoying verbal tics and ums, which lets you smooth out your delivery. So the crucial point is captured beautifully in this quote from the source material. When repeated daily, these words become your character, a powerful gravity that continually attracts others. Charisma isn't some genetic magic. It is a habit. Consistent practice takes these psychological techniques and completely weaves them into your genuine personality. Which leaves us with one final thought to consider. You've seen the data, you have the templates, and you know the daily training routine. The physical youth you were born with, that's fleeting. But the conversational capital you build is entirely in your control. So, will you let your attraction fade as the years go by, or will you step into the dojo and start building an irresistible, lifelong conversational capital today? The choice is entirely yours. Keep practicing, and I'll see you in the next explainer.